Oh, I'm so excited. I love Artemis.
Yeah, you gonna fight her?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna fight her.
Why not?
Because you don't. That's not how this works.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You only fight the gods in combat challenges.
Oh.
Or in, I'm sorry, not combat, in boon challenges, where you basically have to, like, choose between two of them.
Oh.
And then you still end up getting both of their things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Here she comes. Her boons are just super good too. I love them. Oh, it's my favorite.
Do they help
cast.
that you're using? Does it help that you're using the bow?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think at some point later on in the game, she, like, one of the things you can only unlock if you're using the bow when you talk to Artemis. But yeah, it doesn't really matter, unfortunately. Okay. She's just the goddess of, well, I don't want to say just, but she's the goddess of the hunt. So basically, as long as you are hunting, she is on board with your endeavors.
Okay. So we were talking about the movie theater.
Oh yeah, we were talking about old movie memories, and you worked there for a long time, right?
Yeah, well,
like,
that's
how
where
long
we
did
met.
you work there? Well, I know, but how long did you work there for?
I worked there from age 16 to age 21. I think so. Around that time. I worked there for just under 5 years. Like, I was literally coming up on my 5 year because at 5 years you get a little gift. Mm-hmm. And I quit like 2 weeks before.
Oh, babe.
Well, I hated working there, but like by the end I was so checked out. I had no cares.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah.
You worked there very briefly and hated it.
Yeah, I worked there very briefly, had a mental breakdown, and quit.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is not going to be good.
So I worked there. I started there when I was 16, just doing concessions and stuff. And then after 2 years, I became a manager. And then that's when you started working there. Mm-hmm. 'Cause it was right. We had started college at that point because you started around when.
I worked there in 2017.
2017.
Yeah, I started at the very end of 2016 because I was there for Star Wars premiere. Was my very first night.
Force Awakens?
Whichever one came out in the end of 2016.
So probably, Last Jedi?
Probably, yeah. I don't remember. No, I don't remember.
Because Force Awakens came out in 2015.
Well,
that was the first one.
I'm not sure.
That was the one where we're open 24/7.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't 2015 because I worked there in 2017. But
so it would have had to been Last Jedi then.
Okay, and yes, then I suppose that's what it was. But yeah, that was our opening night at the theater was my first night, and I worked until 2 a.m. And that was that night that we had a horrible, horrible, horrible snowstorm. So I got done with work at 2:30 in the morning, and then I went outside and scraped my car off, like 1.5 inches of ice off my car, and like 5 or 6 inches of snow, and I cried. Mm-hmm. And then I got up at 5:30, so I got home at like 4 or something, and then I had to be back at the theater at 7 for my second shift. It was rough. Oh, dang it.
Oh, no.
They got me.
Nice.
But yeah, it was rough, but I have some funny stories from the theater, but mostly it was just like a low point for me personally.
Yeah. I was not happy with my time at the theater. Okay, I'll say this. If you're in high school, working at the movie theater is like being a king. Mm-hmm. It is one of the best jobs you can have if you're in high school. Free movies, free popcorn, you can get your friends in. It's very nice. You can take girls there, you can take boys there. You can do whatever.
You can take non-binary people there.
Yeah, you can take non-binary people there. Yes. So if you're in high school, absolutely. If you have the opportunity to work at the movie theater, do so. Because that was very good for me as like teaching me how to talk to people and how to interact with people, and it helped me learn how to make friends in a better way and in a more effective way, and yeah. The problem becomes when you are
become-
there long enough to be considered for a leadership position like I was. If
didn't
I
care
had
for
it my
that?
way, if I had it with the knowledge that I have now, I would have quit after I started college. And I would have found something else. Or, honestly, I would have just not become a manager. Because when you're a manager, you don't have the excuse of being like, oh, I'm just an employee out. Like, there's
Yeah,
no, I'll
and
go
you-
get my manager and let them deal with it.
Yeah, and you have to.
You
be, like,
get
in
called
charge.
because they don't want to deal with shit. When there's a belligerent
Old
customer or a mean old lady who screams in your face and calls you worthless, which happens more often than you think.
person. You know when things get heated at the movie theater.
Yeah. You know that place where people go to relax and have a good time and not rage and scream and act like children?
You know, I feel like there's a lot of places in life where you would assume people wouldn't behave that way, and then
I
yet,
mean, I have never been to the movie theater and wanted to yell at somebody so badly that I was yelled at. I was yelled at constantly. And it wasn't like my boss, he's an okay boss. He's a pretty good boss. Overall, he was pretty good. For the most part, he would back you up. He would, you know,
I didn't mean to do that.
but for the most part, he just kind of left us to our own devices, which I sort of appreciated. But also, I was 18, and obviously, when you're 18, you're like, I know everything. I'm an adult now.
Yeah, you're like, I got this in the bag.
But no, I was stupid. What is that?
So this
it's
changes your weapon.
I was thinking it was Thor, but Thor's not Greek.
Yeah, no, it's Daedalus.
Okay.
He's the. I'm trying to remember. I think Daedalus is. He's what's his flippin' name? Icarus. He's Icarus's dad.
Oh. Okay. But yes. As I said before, if you're in high school, absolutely work at the movie theater. It is perfect. It is the perfect high schooler job.
Anyone else? Only if you're desperate.
You know, honestly, even if you're in college, as long as you don't work there in
Well, yeah.
Like-
And honestly, like, here's the other thing. We know a few people that work there now and are very happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
So honestly, like, if you're happy there, obviously,
Yeah,
you
obviously.
do what makes you happy. But for us,
my experience is
personally,
gonna be different than yours.
Crikeys, yeah.
But
It
in
was-
my experience,
It was unfortunate when we were there for
Yeah.
us personally, and for quite a few other people that we knew.
yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people there. Like, I'm still friends with a lot of people I worked with. Like, I can count 5 people right now that I'd still be like, I'd go out and have dinner with and hang out with and be friendly with and have fun. But God dang it, is it just the worst place where people just act like absolute children.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, like I said before, I had old women like scream at me and tell me I'm worthless. I had an old, or I had not an old man, but like maybe a guy in his 30s, like red face, gritting his teeth, clenching his fist, 2 inches away from me, literally going, because he was so mad.
It's just like, what do you have to be that mad about, bro?
And
Like,
the other
just
thing,
relax.
The other thing, I worked at a corporate movie theater. It wasn't like a family-owned thing where it's one look. It was,
like one of those
it was
chain-
a
it was a
chain
chain
of movie
situation.
theaters. Corporate gives next to zero shits. As
Yeah, they
long
don't
as
care.
there are butts in seats, they don't care. They do not care. As long as there are butts in seats and they meet their contract minimums, they're contracted to show a movie this many times throughout the day. As long as that is met, they do not give a shit. And obviously they want good ratings they want more butts in seats, so you need to at least treat them somewhat. But they don't care if you get screamed at. They don't care if
Well, and that's,
like,
I
you're
mean, that's how it is.
threatened.
That's how it is everywhere too, right? Like,
yeah,
as unfortunate a truth as that is,
yeah.
like, it wasn't any different in any of the places I worked. Same
But
thing.
it was like pulling teeth for them to be like, yes, this was wrong. We're going to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I also almost killed a guy there.
What?
Yeah.
No. Okay, you need to tell that story immediately,
So
please.
this is before I was a manager.
Okay.
Now, usually at the theater, there's at least 1 or 2 guys, Like, if it's a late show that starts at, like, 10 o'clock and there are no shows after that, there isn't just a bunch of people that sit around and wait for you to be done and sell you popcorn. Usually, if it's the last... the 15 minutes after the last showing starts, the concession stands closes down, the box office closes down, and everybody goes home except for maybe a manager and maybe an usher or two. Just to make sure that movies run, everybody leaves. And so I was an usher at this point, and I was going to be I was the only person working there in the building at the time.
Mm-hmm.
All of the movies end, and this was before the policy that you have to go into each theater and
like
check,
clear them.
Make sure nobody's in there, nobody's hiding, nothing is left. I was not trained to do that, so I had no idea I had to do that. And it's like 1 in the morning, and I go around, I shut off all of the projectors, and in theory, you could go in and look at 99% of the theaters. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, like 95% of the theater and be like, look through that little window where the projector goes and be like, yeah, it's good. There's nobody in there. I still wasn't trained to do that. I was just trained, to
go turn all the stuff off.
Go turn all the stuff off and leave.
Oh, I'm really whiffing it this round, aren't I?
And I'm 18. You have to be 18 to be able to do that. I'm freshly 18. And, this is what I was trained to do. So I'm doing what I was told to do. I close everything down, shut off all the lights, lock all the doors. I clean the bathrooms real quick, and I go home. And I get home by like 1:30. I'm into bed by 2 o'clock. I'm laying in bed, passed out, exhausted. I get a call at like 4:30 in the morning.
Oh God!
And it is one of my who is still my friend today. He's a manager at this point. He calls me. He says, "Hey, Ev,
I forgot how much I like this guy.
That's Dionysus.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's hot.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So he's in the middle of a phone call. I know.
So yes, my friend calls and he's like, "Hey, the cops are here. I just got called in. I'm at the theater right now. You left an old guy and he fell, and called the cops because he couldn't get up.
Oh my God.
You left him in the theater in the pitch black, and he
oh
you
my
left him
God.
And he called the cops.
I could say you did that. Like, you actively did this.
And, like, I guess technically I did leave him in there because I didn't go look. But I didn't know I was supposed... Like, I mean...
You didn't know... Yeah, they didn't tell you.
25-year-old me is like, obviously you need to go in and make sure nobody's in there. But 18-year-old me is like, I barely know which way is left and right. I'm just doing what they told me to do. I did it, and I went home. So the next morning, I'm supposed to work in the morning, which is also a stupid thing when working at the theater. They'll schedule you to leave at 2 in the morning, and you have to be there at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, that's effed majorly.
So I get in, and everybody's looking at me like I'm a dead man fucking walking.
You're like, good.
They're like,
cool,
ooh, I heard.
Cool and good and great.
Yeah, I heard too. And then my manager calls me, and he's like, I was about ready to fire. Like, when I heard, I was going to fire you. But you're a good kid, and it was an honest mistake.
Oh my God.
I'm going to give you this one chance to make it up, but you're not closing anymore. And then 6 months later, he had promoted me to be a manager.
Yeah, so clearly. Oh my God. That would have wrecked me for the rest of my life. I hate to be like, it's a good thing that happened to you, but...
Yeah, well, like... And that's the thing, though. Like, I did everything right that I was supposed to do. I did everything I was told to do, the way I was told to do it. I did everything right. I was just never shown how to do that. And obviously, in my 25-year-old brain, it's like, yes, obviously you should go in and check the theaters. Make sure nobody's hiding or anything. But again, it is the fault of the guy that trained me.
Oh, absolutely. Because if that was policy, they should have told you how to do that. Like,
and
or
I told,
if that's a task
I think that's partially why my manager didn't fire me. He's like, I don't think you were trained very well because the guy that trained you isn't very good at training.
And you were like, no shit.
And I was like, yeah, I was never told that I need to go in and check. I did what I was told. And he's like, yep, that's why you're not fired. Because this is not your fault. But you're not going to be closing anymore. But
which you were like, fair enough.
Nothing else happened with the guy. He was a regular. I knew him by name, and he's like, yeah, it was an honest mistake. I'm sorry that it happened. I'm sorry that I fell.
I'm sorry I fell. Oh my God.
So he got a bunch of free movie passes, and I was a manager 6 months later.
Is that all we got to do to get free movie passes? Is fall at the theater?
Pretty much.
Easy peasy,
honestly,
skeezy. Let's freaking go, babe.
Do you want to know how to get free movies at the movie theater?
Huh?
if you are slightly inconvenienced and you say, hey, I don't want to cause a problem.
Well, that's
If
the
you are-
the same thing everywhere.
If you are nice, they will give you movie passes.
Okay.
If something bad happens and you're like, I don't want to cause a scene, I don't want to cause trouble, but something happened, this happened, and what can we do here? And they're like, yeah, I'll give you a movie pass.
Now you're giving a secret away. Everyone's gonna know now.
No, I mean, it's shocking that being nice to people at the movie theater would reward you.
Would reward you in some way.
Because guess what? If you're mean and an asshole and like, I want free shit, they're gonna dig in their heels and they're like, I don't have to give you anything. But if you're nice to them, they're like, oh, I want to give you free shit. I don't have to, but I want to.
Fair enough.
Because I did that to so many, like, you know, it's a small inconvenience. We didn't have to give you anything. Here's a movie pass because you were nice to me.
Well, that doesn't work here.
No.
But we'll find out what's behind this next time.
Next time. Be nice to retail workers, please.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.